there folks, Stable Media Guy here. Welcome to another video. Now I'm actually guest starring on InitialDungeon's channel. InitialDungeon. So InitialDungeon, or Jeff, I'm just going to go with Jeff because saying InitialDungeon is too many syllables, too many rhymes, so many bars. But anyways, so the reason why I am guest starring on his channel today instead of doing a video for my own channel is because, well, it was kind of a special day. Last night we went ahead and upgraded his case along with his cooling and fans for his computer. And so since we got this big guy right here just hanging out all empty, this is the computer that he uses or had used to edit his videos, record games, and do things like that. His system specs that were inside of this case at one point was the Ryzen 9 7900X, which is a 12-core, 24-thread CPU running at over 5 gigahertz. Loves to boil if you really push it. And on a beautiful, beautiful Aorus motherboard. Can't remember the specifics because I'm a terrible friend and didn't memorize this stuff. With 64 gigs of DDR5 RAM running at 6200 mega transfers. Could have been higher, not sure. Again, I'm a terrible friend and can't remember shiznit. And then for graphics, he had the Power Color Red Devil 7900 XTX, 24 gigs, so basically kind of right up there with the RTX 4080. Still a really good card. And so that's what he was using to game, record things, and basically do day-to-day tasks, watch music videos, or watch YouTube, or what have you. So since we went ahead and moved everything from this guy into his new case with new fans, new everything. By the way, he'll be doing a video on his showing the beauty. Now, I don't know if it's going to come out before this one or after this one. So either way, you'll be able to see. The reason why you're seeing this case sitting here in front of you today is that we got a wild idea in our head that, hey, why don't we just put all of a different system inside of here and record it? Okay, that's not a bad idea, but let me do one better for you. How about we put your old system that you had before the system you have now? You used that old system from 2015 all the way to 2024. 9 friggin' years. So what are we gonna do? Do a throwback. When we did the upgrade on his PC, me being the person that likes to hoard things, still has his old original motherboard that he had 10 years ago when he started his YouTube channel. Now, this is going to be a Gigabyte motherboard, or better known as the GA-Z170-UD5. Still a good motherboard, pretty high end for the time. I mean, it's got a power button, got the eco mode, it's got overclocking, and it's got the debugging port on the side there. Pretty sweet. This one's hooked up with 16 gigs of DDR4 RAM, clocked at 2400 megahertz. I'm not exactly sure if it does support 2400. It might be just 2133 because this is the first generation of DDR4 controllers in Intel systems. Speaking of Intel systems, this is going to be running a Core i7-6700, 4-core, 8-thread, because that's all Intel thought you would need. And honestly, it was all that we needed back in the day. But he was rendering videos in 2024 with this thing. Movies took forever to export. So he did the upgrade. He got the same processor, RAM, and a few other things that I had in my system, and he definitely is just flying through making videos. We are also going to be using the same GPU that he was using back in the day. GTX 960. It's a 4 gig card, and it's from, well, 2015. He used that all the way up until when the RTX 20 series launched. Now, to get this system up and running, we're just going to put it on a good old-fashioned SSD, and I mean old-fashioned. This one's dated from January of 2012, so it's somewhat period correct. It's only 120 gigs. I don't feel like waiting 800 hours for Windows to install and or games to install. To install games, we'll obviously have a 1 terabyte Western Digital Blue drive. Oh yes, we're going to be throwing in an optical media drive. The only thing I didn't show you is going to be the power supply. Not very important. I'm not even going to show myself installing this thing in here. It's just going to be a quick and dirty, throw the PC together, get Windows installed, and we'll go from there. I am going to be installing Windows 7 on this because back then that's what we decided to stay with because Windows 8.1 wasn't exactly very fun, and Windows 10 didn't release until mid-2015. and this was built towards the beginning of 2015. Windows 7 it is. Once we get everything installed and everything, it will be a few days in real time going from the PC build to trying to play some games. Let's go ahead and get this build started. It's going to be fun. All right. So now that we got the system pretty much thrown together, oh dear. Well, it looks like I'm fired. Well, if I'm going to be fired, I might as well just finish it the rest of the way. I mean, that's the only thing I could do. Maybe if I put it back together and make it look all pretty, he won't notice. Nah, he would never notice. He's a very oblivious person. It looks like everything's normal. Nothing's out of the ordinary. You absolutely saw nothing. You have no proof. I'll even delete the footage. And voila, we have ourselves a completed system. Let's go ahead and get it hooked up and install the software. All right, let's get some Windows 7 installed. Oh, very funny, Jeff. This is what we need. Totally legit. Got it off the Microsoft website, I promise. And now we begin the install. We will cut back to when Windows 7 is on there. And probably all the drivers, because I will spare you the details. Hey there, folks. Editing Sable guy here. So I'm doing this video for InitialDungeon, as you can see, and you've already watched the rest of it. I ran into issues with setting up Windows 7. For some reason, it's just fighting me the whole way. I had to change so many things in the BIOSes. I tried different SSDs, but I finally got the original one working. It's not recognizing what motherboard it has, even if I have the right drivers. So I'm still fighting through that. So I'm being super lazy. I'm not even going to film the finished product. You'll see the finished product in a later video
when we decide to play some awesome games on there. On that note, we're just ending on a very anticlimactic end, I guess. Sorry, Jeff. Also, I forgot that I left all that breaking stuff in there, so...
Chris, you're fired.